There's no really delightful noises in the fish world as we find in the mammal world. For example, the sound of seals or the sound of whales, humpback whales or dolphins. Delightful sounds. Fish mostly just kind of grunt, chortle, they grind. They make these impulsive sounds that are not interesting to humans, but somehow are interesting to them. There's one phenomena which is beautiful in its representation, but it doesn't necessarily sound good. It's the sound of the Cinnates, these croakers, these certain types of fish. And David Mann did an interesting study by suspending hydrophones along the coast between Tijuana in Mexico and San Diego. And it's about a 75-kilometer stretch. He had these hydrophones, and he found that these fish were chorusing, but the chorusing was like a stadium wave. So it would start at one end and go whoosh up to the other end, 75 kilometers away, and then it go whoosh back and forth, or I'm not sure exactly the direction, but nonetheless there was a synchronicity in these animals chorusing. So what that tells me is that these animals are working together as an acoustical community, and that there's something that the fish down in Tijuana know that the ones up in San Diego should know. So there's some kind of an interesting phenomenon there. And the chorusing, the speed of the chorusing was very fast. It was almost at the speed of sound as it travels through water, which would, in a sense, extend what we know about their hearing capabilities because of the time domain element of that, significantly higher. Another surprise came up, and I think David Mann was also involved in this one as well. He's kind of the foremost fish hearing specialist in this University of South Florida, aside from Art Popper, who's another really amazing hearing specialist himself. But anyways, they were working on ways of trying to keep herring from the intakes of power station cooling water intakes. And somebody had this great idea. Well, maybe what we should do is generate the sound of dolphins' hunting clicks. And it's their main predator, and they would probably be frightened by that and adapted to hear it. And so they did. In fact, it worked. And then somebody said, well, wait a second. Herring's audiograms don't show that they can hear up to 40 kilohertz. They can only hear up to 1 or 2 kilohertz. So what happened here? Now we realize that these forage fish, these herring and shad, can actually hear up to 40, 50, 60 kilohertz. They can hear the sound of their predator. Big surprise, only in as much as scientists were looking for a very narrow hearing band, and when they started thinking in terms of the adaptations to the environment, they said, oh no, these animals can hear a lot more than we give them credit to.